two live stews. Going down in about 2 minutes. Stand by. Return of the two live stews. Going down in about 1 minute. Stay tuned. Sports talk so good, makes you want to slap your mama. The return of the two live stews in 30 seconds. Stand by.
This is what it is, okay? You know what it is. You have to do the right thing. You have to go home to the family, you understand?
I'm not saying you gotta go back there this minute, but you gotta go back.
If you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping.
Fresh off the Plizzane. You know my dang name.
You cheating some of them.
Look, man, I'm all excited over here, and you look like you scared.
Boy, stop. He ain't never scared. If you not stewing, what in the hell are you doing?
When it comes to the game that's coming up on next Monday, man, I think that Clemson has the best quarterback, and that gives them the best offense. But I think Bama's defense is better than Clemson's defense, and I think that causes a problem.
I just talked about how happy and how proud I am to be from South Carolina and Clemson's in the national championship. Not this year. I just don't think it's going to happen this year, man. Alabama's got too much. Now, one thing I will say, Clemson runs an offense that traditionally Alabama over the last couple of years under Nick Saban has struggled with. They spread your teams out. You also have to nullify, kind of nullifies the big linebackers and the big defensive linemen that Alabama has. So they got a shot. I just don't see it this year. I think Dabo will bring a national championship to Clemson, but this year it's just too much Alabama. Stupendous Saturday to you, Doug Stewart, Ron Stewart, the two live stews.
Ooh-wee!
The return of the two live stews on 640 WGST.
Yes, sir.
Shouts out to everybody tuned in this morning. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, sir, and shouts out to Bruce Hagen, the people's lawyer. You can check Bruce out at 445-227-5553 or on the web at hagen-law.com.
Man, listening to that clip, man, I sounded horrible last week.
You sounded a hot mess,
I knew
man.
that, but, I mean, when you hear it a second time around, it really hits you.
No disrespect.
Right.
If we were getting,
Which means disrespect is coming.
if we were getting paid to do this, you would owe them people money for last week.
No. I mean, I still came with it.
You came with it.
I just didn't have my voice or whatever.
You
like
had no bass.
Yeah.
You had no bass at all, man.
Still a tough week for me as well. Did a lot of things, man. Went to California, just got back last night.
How was the trip, sir?
It was
Can
very
you talk
good.
about the trip at all?
Nah, I can't really talk about. Well, I
Okay.
mean, I did a show out there, and I probably shouldn't talk about the other network. I don't think. But anyway, I did a show out there on national TV, and I also did a couple other things. Hopefully, I'll have more to tell y'all
man.
about it coming up real soon here.
Is it the kind of situation where you taking my niece to L.A., man? Y'all moving?
Hey, man, if God be willing, we'll see. We'll see.
Would you want that? Would you want that LA life?
Why did I just drop my head down, like drop on my knees, like yes?
Would you want that action, man?
I mean, that'd be a big change, man. But
you have no idea how big of a change that would.
Yeah,
you
California.
You go from a number one Big Mac meal supersized for $4.99 to a number one Big Mac meal supersized for $12.
Right.
That's a big difference, man.
I got and I was staying in a real nice hotel, the Intercontinental out there.
Well, they didn't put me up there when I was out there, man. They put me I was like a Marriott.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
What the?
I mean, that's none of my business. But anyway, so the breakfast, man, was averaging between $40 and $48, man. Breakfast.
For an egg and bacon?
And listen, I don't eat breakfast meat, so I had no pork and nothing like that. So I had like 2 eggs. I told them to put a little bit of cheese on there, some toast, and a fruit plate.
No, stop, real quick.
$46 for a plate of fruit, 2 eggs scrambled. I mean, the eggs ain't no different than the eggs anywhere else in the world.
Was it ostrich eggs or something?
Right. $46 and a little thing of orange juice.
Before I address that, shouts out to my man, the Naughty Dread. What up, Dread?
What's happening?
Everything is everything, man.
The cadre.
The cadre's in the building, man.
It's cadre.
So, were you expensing that breakfast?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't eat no $45 breakfast.
Real quick, shame on you for even getting a $45 breakfast to expense. That ain't right.
What do you mean?
You shouldn't do that to the people who paying that bill.
No, but come on, man. They got a budget. They live out there. That's the cost of living out there.
No.
They know that a breakfast at the Intercontinental is $46.
I can feed my whole family for a week's worth of breakfast with $48, man.
So what are you saying? I should have brought a hot plate in there and cooked my own eggs? I didn't want to, over-expense the company that flew me out there?
Let me tell you exactly what's being said about you right now.
What? Oh, ungrateful ninja?
Do you believe that ninja ate breakfast 2 times for $50 a piece?
But I gotta eat. What? I should have left and went to McDonald's and got a $14 breakfast?
You should have went to 7-Eleven and got you a nab and an orange juice. A nab and an orange juice and kept it pushing and then tell them, the breakfast was way too expensive, so I didn't get any breakfast at the hotel, but I'll expense you this nab and this orange juice I got.
Hey, Jonathan, look at this. Can you believe he actually ate the breakfast? Can you believe he actually expensed it to us?
Right!
Oh, the nerve of him.
It is the Two Live Stews on WGST 640 AM and your iHeartRadio app. I got to talk to you as a father real quick before we get into these sports, man.
National championship game coming up Monday. We're going to talk about that.
And the Dread is a father, too, so I got to talk to both of y'all about this real quick, man.
Uh-huh.
My boys had a real bad week.
Okay. Bad as in
behavior-wise.
Right.
Not listening, pushing and fighting each other and sliding around.
You better nip it in the bud. I'm going to tell you that, especially that little one.
I was very embarrassed at how they behaved at basketball practice because I had to literally go on the floor 5 different times to stop them from pushing and playing with other kids during basketball practice.
Your kids are real unruly, man. And our mother says we were worse, but I don't believe that. Your kids are like little hooligans.
My question to both of you, I had to turn the heat up on the discipline this week.
Okay.
I had monster truck tickets for them to go to the Dome to watch the monster trucks tonight.
Uh-huh.
I tore them up in their face like y'all don't deserve to go.
You tore up the monster truck tickets?
Already paid for it. Tore them up.
Why do you give me the monster truck tickets, man?
Well, you the kind of person that wouldn't.
Those tickets could have been used.
But Naughty, he's the kind of person that wouldn't be willing to pay for it. He would be like, "Oh, well, what you pay for them? I paid Bam Bam. Okay, well, I'll give you half of it." So I didn't want to go through that.
Also, Doug is the type of person that doesn't like to waste money.
Right.
That's what you did.
He's frugal. That's a good point.
You tore some tickets in half, man?
So I had to turn the heat up, man. And as a father,
How dare you?
I feel bad about the discipline that I had to instill this past week.
Why would you feel bad?
Okay.
Our old man kicked our ass all over the place. We turned out all right.
Thank you. Naughty, your thoughts, please?
Well, Doug has girls, so he probably doesn't have to discipline his children the same way that we have to discipline ours. So I understand where you're coming from,
I snatched them.
Sometimes you got to put your hand on them and it hurts you, man. It hurts you inside, like your soul.
It hurt bad to the point where after I did what I had to do as a father,
right,
or 2 little black boys that have to listen,
it didn't hurt you as bad as it hurt them.
I ran downstairs.
That whole "it hurts me worse than it hurt you" is a lie.
No, I disagree.
It's a damn lie.
I disagree.
I remember old man used to say that. I used to like, you. What are you talking about? Let's switch places then, bruh. I kept saying to myself, like, come on, let's switch then if it hurting you so bad.
I mean, after the 300th time, then yeah, it does hurt the child more. But the first 2 times or 3 times,
hey, man,
it's a new experience.
I went downstairs and I didn't apologize, but I had to have a heart-to-heart. Like, look, man, what Daddy just did, he had to do.
You apologize because Miles is smart. He would have called defects on you. You were scared that he was gonna call defects. And you know that cat talk.
Hey, is this defects? Can you send the police down here? My dad just whooped the ish out of me.
That's exactly how Miles talks to him. He is so smart. Like, he's a little brainiac. He talks like a brainiac.
He's a genius, man.
Hey, you are locked and loaded into the Two Live Stews. Doug Stewart, Ryan Stewart. Stupendous Saturday to you once again. The return of the Two Live Stews. We got 10 the Stew Way, where we were talking about the 10 biggest stories from this past week in the world of sports and entertainment, as well as the Funky Four, the 4 biggest games in football this weekend. We only got 4. So we're going to hit those. We'll give you our prognostications, and we'll also talk a little bit about the national championship game on a Monday night.
From time to time, I call a man by the name of Guido that has his hair slicked back. And I call him and I ask him about these games, and I say, hey, man, here's what I think is going to happen, and I'm going to give you 2 apples if this happens, and if it doesn't happen, you give me 4 apples, okay?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying, right?
Right.
And
the apples are money for people that never listened to us in the day, back in the day.
I really think
something about talking about money and gambling.
I really think I'm rethinking my stance that you heard at the top of the show on the Clemson Tigers and Alabama, sir.
Hey,
I'm really thinking about going with the home team in the Tigers.
I'm telling you right now, man, Clemson going to keep them spread out all game long. Clemson going to score. They're going to keep 4 wides out there. They're going to keep Gallman back there in the backfield. They're going to option to him a lot of times, and they're going to make Alabama, they're going to force Alabama to take their big personnel defensive linemen once again, and linebackers off the field.
We're going to talk about it here in detail a little bit later, but you do realize that Clemson has 4 defensive linemen that are suggested that will be drafted before the 28th pick.
Oh, they
4.
got players.
4.
Dabo has recruited extremely well.
They rotate a 9-man rotation every 3 to 4 snaps, so they got fresh legs.
10 the Stew Way coming up next with the Two Live Stews on 640 WGST. Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play. So, you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STEW to play for free. That's STEW for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STEW, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STEW. The world's heavyweight champions of sports and Guy Talk Radio, the Two Live Stews, 640 WGST.
Yeah.
As well as iHeartRadio. Happy Saturday to you, man. A lot of big games coming up this weekend. The playoffs get started. The wild card games get going this weekend. The national championship game on Monday, man. So a lot we got to get into today.
Shouts out to
with
Bruce
the Two
Hagen.
Live Stews.
Since they opened the doors and started doing personal injury law, Bruce has been doing this since 1992, man, and he's been fighting insurance companies. And I'm a customer.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
I'm a believer, and I'm dealing with a situation right now with my insurance company that I'm not going to put them on blast today, but probably next week if things don't change. I'm going to put them on blast, but Bruce is going to fight them for me to make sure that the injustices are corrected. So shout out to Bruce Hagen, man. We appreciate all you do, Bruce.
Hagen-Law. He spells Hagen, Hagan, Hagen-Law.com. You ready for 10 the Stew Way?
What up, Cadre?
What's happening, man? It's time to get into it. We're going to start off right here in Atlanta. The Falcons announced they will stick with Thomas Dimitroff despite the fact the Falcons have won just one playoff game since Dimitroff became GM in 2008.
Wow.
Now, he's responsible for drafting Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and Desmond Trufant, amongst numerous draft failures and free agent misses. Are the Falcons making a smart move, Ryan, by retaining Dimitroff?
I'm going to be forthright and give y'all some real important information before we go any further. Thomas Dimitroff, who used to work with the New England Patriots.
Right. That was the reason why he got the job, because he came from that winning organization. People didn't know they were cheating, though, the whole time he was up there.
Prior to working with the Patriots, he was a scout for the Detroit Lions. He is the scout that scouted me here in Atlanta at Tech for the Lions.
Oh, okay, so you owe that man everything.
He is the reason
you
why.
You better not talk about that man.
I was number 76 overall.
Uh-huh.
That being said, I'm slightly surprised that he's still here. Okay? Because it's 2016, and in 2012, the draft that he had, none of those guys, they're not on the Falcons team. They're not in the league, period.
Lamar Holmes, Brady Ewing, Jonathan Massaquoi, Charles Mitchell, Travion Robertson as well. None of those guys are in the NFL. How do you pick an entire draft
4 years ago?
4 years ago,
Right.
and not one of those guys are in the league? Not
funny.
just for your team. 4 of those 6 guys aren't in the league.
It's kind of funny because I only played 4 years in the league myself, So he missed on me too. But anyway, Quinn said that he took this job partially because of Mr. Dimitrov.
Uh-huh.
Off the blank, believes in Quinn. Quinn believes in Dimitrov, and that's how this thing works, sir.
Yeah, man, he's really, really struggled. And you know me, I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm not saying he's a bad football guy, but it just hasn't worked. I'm always of the mind of you have to try something different. What's the definition of insanity? Doing something the same way and expecting a different outcome. I said that for many years about Mark Richt. I feel the same way about Thomas Dimitrov. Love you, but peace. Bye, Felicia.
I'm happy he's still here.
Well, Deshaun Jackson says Chip Kelly's firing is karma. But Chip Kelly looks like he's going to get another opportunity real soon. Reportedly, Chip Kelly and his people met with the 49ers about their coaching vacancy on Thursday. Considering the 49ers personnel, especially the quarterback, Colin Kaepernick, could Chip Kelly be a good fit in San Fran? And does he deserve another chance, Doug?
It's the perfect fit. Now, I've said it many times before.
Wow, I didn't expect that.
I love Chip Kelly as far as his offense. I love different types of offenses, not sticking to how they do things traditionally in the NFL. I love Chip Kelly's offense. What went wrong with Chip Kelly in Philadelphia is he got arrogant. He got rid of good players for average ones. Nobody does that and is successful. So that was his downfall. But offensively, and with a piece like Colin Kaepernick, that would be incredible. The thing is that San Francisco, if they were to come to some type of agreement where he is the coach, he doesn't get personnel abilities anymore.
No.
He has to stand down from that. He has to build back up his resume to get that. If he's okay with that, I think Chip Kelly and the San Francisco 49ers and Colin Kaepernick is a great move.
I got 2 quick points, and the first one is Deshaun Jackson and Shady McCoy need to get over it. They're still getting their money, and the guy that got rid of them has been fired. You guys win. Your point is proven. Stop talking about the bitterness.
They sound like some chicks, though, for real. This is dragging on too long about their bitterness to do.
Get over it. And secondly, college coaches, when they come to the NFL for the first time, should not be given the keys to the Ferrari. So if he gets another opportunity, which I don't think he's worthy of one right now, he needs to be a coordinator to see how this thing really works at this level, because you did a terrible job, even though you went 10-6 twice in 3 years. You did a terrible job.
Yeah, the talk was, would Colin Kaepernick get traded or released and then go sign with Philadelphia? And it's actually going to work out, but in San Francisco, I think.
Well, talking about worthy, according to reports, Johnny Manziel failed his audition as Browns quarterback. We all know his issues. We all know RG3's issues. Which QB would you risk your job on to come to your team and be a possible starter, and who has a more probable chance of being a starter sooner in the NFL?
And you're listening to the Two Live Stews, 640 WGST.
RG3, Naughty Dread. I'm a Johnny fan. You guys know that. I like Johnny Manziel. But the facts are, his quarterback completion percentage is 57 in the time that he's been a quarterback, and RG3's was as high as 68.7. RG3 just got the rug pulled from underneath him, okay? And he had a guy that didn't want to work with him, didn't want to bring him along as a quarterback.
Same situation in Cleveland with Johnny Manziel and Mike Pettin.
But Johnny isn't acting worthy of being a franchise quarterback, and I can't take that chance. At least I know RG3 wants to work to be a better quarterback. I can't say the same for Johnny.
But here's the problem with RG3, man, is I think we've seen the best of RG3. I think he's shot.
He's young.
Physically, he's shot.
No.
3 knee surgeries, man?
No.
3 torn ACLs?
Yeah.
And that's what you're looking like with RG3 right now. And this guy isn't the same player that he was when he was in college.
Oh,
He's not that guy that they drafted in Washington. And I think mentally he's never going to be the same guy that we saw that had that run added to his game that made him so much of a threat.
Oh, he's not the same guy that he was when he was Rookie of the Year in the NFL? He's not that guy anymore?
No, he's not that guy.
Okay.
He is not that guy because mentally, man, he's thinking about his knees. And you're talking to a guy, I had an ACL injury as well. It took me a couple of years to get over that. This guy's had 3 major knee injuries. I think 2 ACLs and 1 other major, damage in his knee as well. That's going to be tough, man.
Johnny wasn't the Rookie of the Year. And as a matter of fact, until they put a football team or franchise in Las Vegas, nobody's going to bring Johnny on the team. Nobody's going to sign Johnny anymore. I think he's done.
Guess what? If teams would have said the same thing about Brett Favre after his first year here in Atlanta, we would have never seen Brett Favre. I think Johnny Manziel has time to grow and learn from his mistakes.
That's a great point.
If I'm Dallas, I would go with Johnny Manziel over RG3.
I like the Favre call, but Favre wasn't given the keys and said, this is your team. Chill out. Green Bay did that for Favre. But Johnny's been given an opportunity over and over and over, and he wants to be in Vegas, man.
Young, dumb, and full of you-know-what.
Well, speaking of opportunities or the lack thereof, Lovie Smith got fired this week after 2 seasons in Tampa Bay. Now, he was 8-24. That was his record. But even notable players such as Levante David, they spoke out about how disgusted they are with the organization. They just had a meeting with Lovie Smith, and then the next day he's fired. Offensive coordinator Dirk Cutter is rumored to be the next coach. Did Lovie get the shaft, Ryan? It's just simple. Did he get the shaft?
There's no doubt in my mind that Lovie got the shaft. But, Doug, contrary to what a lot of people are saying, this is not a black and white thing.
Right. I agree with that.
This is a Tampa Bay Buccaneer thing, and this is what they do. Since 2008, they've had 4 head coaches, okay? And I think they pulled the rug from under John Gruden early. I think they pulled the rug from under Raheem Morris early, and I think they pulled the rug from under Greg Schiano early. For everybody that's saying it's a black and white thing, Schiano only got 2 years too, okay?
Right.
So this is just a Buck thing, and I've realized that everybody's not as smart as the Pittsburgh Steelers. 47 years, 3 coaches.
Right.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
That's how you build a dynasty. Popping them in and out isn't going to help.
You're listening to the 2 Live Stews, 640 WGSC. No disrespect to Lovie Smith. They went 2-14, man, in your first year, 6-10 in your second year.
He got better. He got better last year.
They went 8-24 in his 2 years.
He got better with a rookie quarterback. Oh, okay. That's kind of encouraging.
They won 3 games at home in 2 years. So a lot of times coaches with those numbers, they get fired. Here's the thing about it that people are forgetting. I haven't heard anybody talk about this week, and I talked about this when I was in L.A. On the shows that I did, is that Tampa Bay is trying to recapture what happened with them when they brought in John Gruden. They got lightning in a bottle. They won a Super Bowl in 1 year under John Gruden. They figure, hey, that's the formula for us to win it all.
And it wasn't Gruden's team. It was Tony Dungy's team.
That's true. But in their mind, I believe, in this organization's mind, in the Glazers' mind, the team that the family that owns the team, is they feel like that they did it one time, they can do it again. Has to be for them to get rid of all these coaches so quick.
But that team wasn't groomed to the same way this team isn't groomed the same way that team was groomed.
To build and to have something of that's positive.
I'm not saying it's right, but I think that's what they're thinking by getting rid of these coaches so quick.
All right, let's jump into number 5 real quick. It won't take long.
Number 5, Calvin Johnson talking about retirement. Is it that bad in Detroit?
It's not that bad, man. Any place there's an NFL team, if you're an NFL player, it's not bad. But the man is just tired of getting his head beat in.
Calvin Johnson comes from a real stable family, man. They don't need football. Yeah. All right, when we get back from the break, man, the second 5 in 10 the Stew with you boys at 2 Live Stews on 640 WGST. Yeah.
Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BB Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bbmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's bbmobileapps.com and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you.
Welcome to Atlanta, where the players play and the Two Live Stews talk ish every day. Welcome back. Doug Stewart, Ron Stewart, the Two Live Stews, 640 WGST, as well as iHeartRadio.
You got a personal injury? Have you been in an auto accident, a motorcycle accident, a truck accident, a bicycle accident? You got a wrongful death situation going on? What about an NFL concussion like myself? Dangerous drugs, that part of your life, medical devices, additional practice areas. My man Bruce Hagen is the guy to talk to for a free consultation. Give him a call at 404-522-7553.
You talk about talking ish every day. Check out the Doug Stewart Show Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time on the Stewart Media Entertainment Network.
We 9 days into 2016, and I hadn't had one invite to come on the show, man.
Oh, man, you got it this week. Don't worry about it. We back this week, Monday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time. On the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. So tune in. As a matter of fact,
we got witnesses, man. When am I coming on?
Oh, you can come on tomorrow. I mean, you can come on tomorrow. That's not a problem.
Around what time? Let's do it right now.
Around 11:15. You got something to do at that time, though, right? Hey,
11:15 ain't gonna work.
Check this out. Shouts out to everybody that listens to the Doug Stewart Show, man. We just crossed over 10,000 followers to the show.
Applause!
And you know what? In relative terms to Celestial Radio, that's not a lot because there's millions of people that listen to the Tom Jordan Morning Show. But trust me, to have over 10,000 people hit the little follow button, which means that whenever the show goes live, they get an alert. That's huge for online.
Is it Celestial Radio or Terrestrial Radio?
No, Celestial. Or no, you got me confused now.
I think it's terrestrial.
It might be. I don't know. You know what I mean. But radio you listen to on the radio or in your car or whatever on the radio.
Can we get to this back half of 10 to Stew?
Let's do it.
Here we go. The NFL playoffs start today with two slight QB controversies.
Terrestrials are aliens, man.
Yeah, like E.T.
It ain't terrestrials.
I don't think you guys know what you're talking about.
You got me thinking like, damn.
I don't
Y'all
know.
misunderstood me.
I think it's foreign.
Y'all
but,
misunderstood me. Y'all don't understand what I'm saying.
I'm not doing the show with E.T., bruh.
Anyhow, we got two slight QB controversies going into this playoffs. In Cincy, A.J. McCarron gets the nod versus Pittsburgh over Andy Dalton, who's coming off a broken thumb, while Peyton Manning will get the start over the young Brock Osweiler. Considering their respective situations, are Kubiak and Lewis starting the right guys?
As far as Denver, man, I think they just had to. I mean, there's no way around it. You're not going to lose a game with Peyton Manning on the bench healthy enough to come in and play. Now, he's not good right now. It's pretty much 6 in one hand and half dozen in the other. Mm-hmm. But it is what it is. You're not going to lose a game with Brock Osweiler and have to answer questions for the rest of your life on why didn't you put in one of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time. I knew they were going to make this decision.
A month ago, I would have said there's no way I'm going with Peyton Manning because
we talked about this on the show.
Osweiler was playing good ball. But the last 2 games, he started slipping. And Peyton came in, and he was the reason why they ended up getting that number 1 seed with his play. So you can't leave him on the bench. Now, when it comes to what's going on in Cincinnati, the man got a busted thumb. He can't go.
Yeah.
I'm not putting him out there when you throw the ball with your right hand and your right thumb was broken a few weeks ago.
Yeah, bottom line is he can't go. I mean, I'm sure they want to put Andy Dalton out there who's having his best year of his career.
I'm betting the house.
He can't go.
I'm betting the house on Pittsburgh. The entire house.
Last week you was betting.
If you lose, though, man, do you really need to use my basement?
No doubt about it. I have no place to go. No money, no place to go.
But what about the kids, though?
They're going to stay in the basement, too. You got plenty of room down there. I done checked it out, man.
Yeah, I got a nice-sized basement.
You got plenty of room.
We got to stop betting the house because last week.
You got to stop.
Last week you was very close to betting the house on Alabama.
Yeah.
And if Nick Saban wins this national title, that'll be 4 in 7 years. Now, he already got a statue in Alabama. And with the win over Clemson Monday, his legendary status could be greater than Bear Bryant at Bama. Is he the greatest football coach all time, college or pro, Ryan?
Nick is the bomb, but when you start talking about the Bear, you're talking about the guy that I thought won 6 titles, but Wikipedia says he won 7. You're talking about a guy that had 14 to 15 SEC titles. So people are saying that Nick is better because of the modern era.
Right.
Guys leaving to go to the NFL early. There's black players playing now, and Bear coached for a little while. There wasn't no black players and stuff like that. The competition is the competition during the era. You can't compare the two eras. And Bear Bryant has accomplished more than Nick to this point. I love Nick, but Bear's still going to be the Bear.
But there's a caveat to all of those numbers you just talked about.
No.
If Alabama can catch another title under his watch, talking about Nick Saban, that's going to be 5 championships in the last 11 years as a college coach. Mm-hmm. Excluding his 2 years with the Miami Dolphins, okay? Mm-hmm. By comparison, Bear Bryant won 7, 6 with the Tide and 1 with Kentucky, but that was over a span of 30 years.
Right.
So Nick Saban's going to win 5 in 11, and it took Bear Bryant 30 to win 7.
Okay.
And you got to remember, back during that time, they didn't have the constraints on scholarships. They just used to give a bunch of kids scholarships and stash them so those kids couldn't go play for other teams. I think it's a much harder task winning championships in 2015 than it was when Bear Bryant was there.
Alfred, Walter, pay attention to this and dump it if you have to. 7 inches is longer than 5. Period. It's always going to be that way.
Yeah, but I just told you, the man in this day and times, it's harder to get players. There's more scholarship restrictions than there were back during that era.
Right.
As well as he won 5, he will have won 5 in 11. It took the man 30 to win 7.
I understand. I want you to understand
You
this.
don't think it's harder in 2015 to get top recruits now that you have these TV packages? Kids just don't go to 5 schools. They go all over the country.
I'm trying to be as delicate as I can with this, but if two individuals get on the same treadmill every day and they've got the same amount of stamina, and one of them says, I got 7 over here, and the other says, I only got 5, I think she's going to say, well, I want you to come with me.
Well, it depends on how old are y'all.
Right. And also if supplements are involved, like those Blue Diamonds.
I don't want to get in trouble, so let's move on.
Go ahead to the next question.
Well, there's no doubt that Nick Saban will be a Hall of Famer when it's all said and done. And this weekend, Ken Griffey Jr. got the call for the Hall. Now, of course, he's first ballot, making history by attaining 99.3% of the votes. That's 437 votes out of 440. I don't know what those other 3 guys were thinking. But considering the Hall of Fame votes, his accomplishments on the field, and him being viewed as a clean player, is Ken Griffey Jr. the greatest player in his era, Doug?
Well, definitely the greatest player in his era. The numbers say it based on this voting. One thing about the voting and the fact that 3 people didn't vote for him, I'm actually shocked.
Who didn't vote, man?
Well, no, I'm actually going in a totally different direction. I'm actually shocked that he got as many votes as he did.
What?
Because baseball is so quirky with all these unwritten rules and all of that. You hit a guy if he flips the bat. You don't bunt it for guys getting, having a no-hitter. I'm shocked that all these baseball purists that vote on this thing go ahead and gave the vote to Ken Griffey Jr., basically in effect saying that he's better than the great Babe Ruth. I'm actually shocked at that fact.
The other 437 voters should call to the carpet the 3 guys that didn't put him on the ballot. Period. Point blank. And yes, he's clearly the best player of his era. And if he would have won a title, any place, he would probably be the best player that's ever played the game. If he would have won a title.
Talent-wise, I mean, you
can
make that argument.
He had it all.
He could have been one of the best players in the game.
He just was stuck out in Seattle and then played for a Cincy team that wasn't all that. If he would have won a title, man, he should be the best ever.
But is he considered the best player in his era because he was clean? Because Barry Bonds played in this era.
Yeah. I mean, that's definite.
Well, he was a better player than Barry, though.
No, I don't know about that.
He was a better player than Barry.
Barry Bonds is the best baseball player I've ever seen.
He's a mythical figure in baseball.
Okay.
He's not getting as much credit, or he doesn't get the credit for being as great a player as Barry Bonds, but he's getting more credit because he's supposedly clean.
But Doug, do you
clean guys during that era?
But Doug, do you believe that Ken Griffey Jr. did get these votes, this amount of votes, and he's getting celebrated the way he is, sort of as a shove in the face to Barry Bonds, like, look, you could have been celebrated this way.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, a lot of that has to do with it.
And I'm going to rethink this whole thing about Barry and Ken and who's better.
They didn't even want to throw the ball to Barry Bonds, man. I mean, it was so crazy for a time.
They couldn't throw it to him. You're right. Okay.
Well, now those guys are coming back, but Kyrie Irving is back, and that's a sight to see. Kyrie scored a season-high 32 points Wednesday versus Washington, 21 in the fourth quarter, and he was doing it in 2K-type fashion. I mean, between the legs, behind the back, whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah, he looked crazy up there.
If Kyrie remains healthy, while he and LeBron continue to build chemistry, does their odds of knocking off Golden State or San Antonio increase in your mind, Ryan?
There is very little doubt that if he stays healthy and LeBron has a full supporting cast of healthy players, that they will contend and beat any other teams that's out there. But I want everybody to overlook Golden State for a quick second and look at the Spurs. The Spurs are 3 to 4 games behind Golden State.
And you're listening to the Two Live Stews, 640 WGST.
And there's no player on their roster that has logged more than 30 minutes in a game. Popovich could have the same record that Golden State has right now, but he's not trying to do that.
Yeah, but they have to do that because the guys are old.
But they're young too. They got young players too, though. It's not the old. It's not that Spurs team that was 5 years ago when they were getting up there. They've got a lot of youth sprinkled out in that age, man.
This is real easy. I mean, they take them to 6 games last year without Kevin Love and without Kyrie Irving?
Right.
At the least, it's going 7 right now. And it's kind of like a coin toss to me because they do have these veteran players, these great players. You talk about Tristan Thompson, Kevin Love, LeBron, J.R. Smith. If they stay healthy, I think it's definitely going to be a 7-game series between them and Golden State.
Last one real quick now.
All right, I asked y'all last year when y'all left your top stories. This year, any predictions that y'all can see for 2016 in sports?
How about this? Can we hold it till the next segment?
Sure.
Let's hold it till the next segment. We got one more 10 to Stew A. We'll talk about the Funky Four, and we'll mention the Monday night football game, the national championship
Let's just
game.
do whatever you want to do, Doug, you know? It's the Doug Stewart Show. Do whatever you want to do.
You want to go ahead and do it? My bad,
No, that's
man.
fine, man. You go ahead, man.
This your invite.
Don't go away. The Two Live Stews.
This is your folk, Doug Stewart. Want to protect you and your family from life's unexpected mishaps? Then join 7. Join 7 is a prepaid legal company under the umbrella of the Protection Group. Join 7 is the only group benefit or motor club in the U.S. that offers auto reimbursement coverage, key replacement coverage, roadside assistance, gives you a current Medi-File, prescription savings, and fully encompassed prepaid legal benefits that include identity theft. They got your back. The average combined cost to purchase these benefits individually is over $850 a year. Join today and take advantage of all 7 for $17 a month. They've been around for over 20 years, so check them out by clicking on the banner link on my page, thedougstewartshow.com, or the app. Just go ahead and join 7.
All right, we back with the Two Live Stews, Doug Stewart, Ryan Stewart, 640 WGST. You hear the 10 to Stew A music because we got one more 10 to Stew A question. I just didn't want you to rush, man. That's all. It wasn't personal.
I was saying, tell me, what do you guys look forward to in sports in 2016? Do you have any predictions?
I got 2, man. Will the Golden State Warriors surpass the Bulls' 72-10 record? That's 1.
Okay. That's
And the
a good
second
one.
one is,
that's a good one.
I really wonder if Dan Quinn is going to take the Falcons to the next level and do better than 8-8 this year. I really do.
Well, damn,
Those are questions. Are you going to stamp anything? I'm asking the questions. I need you to stamp it.
Okay, I think
stamp it as far as
I think
you
Golden
want.
State will surpass the Bulls' record.
Oh, okay.
And I think Dan Quinn is going to come back and do another 8-8 or maybe win 9.
Okay. Well, you kind of took mine. I was going to say the Falcons.
Okay.
I want to see if the Falcons can rebound, man. From the last 2 years, have just been horrible. I really do like Dan Quinn, man. I like the attitude he brought to the team in the first 6 weeks of the season. And hopefully, man, we can get a better draft, man. The Falcons, everybody's talking about right now, the Falcons drafting a linebacker. And everybody's talking about the kid from UCLA, Miles Jack. He played running back and linebacker.
Beast.
So we'll see, man. I just really feel like that Dan Quinn and this organization is going to take a step forward this coming year.
I agree.
I do not believe Matt Ryan can have another year like this. That's impossible, right?
That's big of you, Doug.
I'm serious.
That's
No,
big
I
of
keep
you.
it real. I
That's big of
mean,
you.
I've always said Matt Ryan's a good quarterback. I always think that they rank him higher than he really is. I say he's probably average, but he ain't that bad.
He's not average.
He's
not average.
He's average. He's
No.
slightly above average. Okay, so there's 32 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yes.
Where would you rank Matt Ryan? You would rank him what? 15th?
Outside of this year, he's between that 10 and 12 mark. You can't give me
10 and 12 is slightly above average.
That's in the top
Average
third, Doug.
Average is 16. Halfway through 32 is 16. You said 12.
10 and 12 is before 16.
Well, I mean,
is in the top third of 32.
We're really pretty much in the same place. So Matt Ryan is a very good quarterback. I don't think he's as bad of a quarterback as we've seen this year.
Before we talk about the games this weekend, sir, I got to make this one comment. Somebody on Periscope just hit me up and said this. Doug.
Yes, sir.
RG3 did the things that Johnny Manziel has done, would he be in the league?
Would he be in the league?
Would he be in the league if RG3 acted and did the things that Johnny Manziel did?
I mean, really, Johnny Manziel hadn't done anything.
Okay, but that wasn't the question, sir. That wasn't the question.
Well, if he did the things that RG3 or that Johnny Manziel has done, I think he'd still be in the league.
Okay.
With the cachet coming into the league with a Heisman Trophy, a first-round draft pick, yeah, you give first-round draft picks extra leash, right?
I think if RG3 would act the way that Johnny Manziel acts off the football field, that he would be acting at home. He would be on anybody's football team.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
Let's talk about these games, man.
Yeah. Funky Four, the 4 biggest games in football this weekend. There's only 4 games, so let's run down them, man, and tell me what you think about each one.
Kansas City and Houston, man. I like Kansas City. Alex Smith is playing really good ball. Andy Reid knows how to manage a football team. They've won 10 straight games, and I don't see the Houston Texans having the quarterback to get it done, or the fact that they're injury-stricken is a problem for them.
Kansas City -3 in this game. As you just mentioned, just been on a tremendous win streak. The Texans been playing great football. They win the division. That's why they host the game.
KC's done this without Jamal Charles, man.
Yeah, they have. But
Alex Smith is the reason why they're winning football games, man, and a good defense.
Yeah, the Texans, man, really shocking me. They looked really horrible at the beginning of the year. Brian Hoyer, solid, not great, but solid for that Texans team. J.J. Watt, 17.5 sacks. I'm hoping that Jadeveon Clowney can have a bust out postseason this year and get a couple of sacks today and a couple of next week, man.
Please.
I'm just really hoping this kid can really turn things around. So I'm going with the Texans, man, to cover and maybe even win this game at home.
Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, sir. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers because they have a quarterback by the name of Big Ben Roethlisberger, and even though they've lost Williams, the running back, to an injury and he won't be there, they throw the ball anyway. Antonio Brown's doing something that's just ridiculous and hadn't been seen. He is the dude, and I'm sorry, A.J. McCarron, you've done a good job to this point with your 4 games. You've thrown 6 touchdowns and 2 picks, but you're not ready for this type of intensity.
Pittsburgh -2.5 in this game. It would be a lot more, and this game would be more easily won, more handily won by Pittsburgh, if not for the fact that they don't have a great defense this year, and that's un-Pittsburgh-like.
True.
But I got to go with you, man. Just a dynamic offense with Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown. Give me Pittsburgh to cover and win this game, man.
Really excited to talk to you about these last 2, Doug. Seattle goes to Minnesota. They're favored by 5. It's supposed to be snowing, and that's supposed to be a problem. I'm betting your house on Seattle.
Wow.
Yeah, I am.
Seattle destroyed the Vikings earlier this year, but this is the postseason. The Vikings been playing pretty good, man. I like Teddy Bridgewater, but he's young. So they're going to stack the box and stop Adrian Peterson. I like Seattle in this game as well. Seattle -4.5 on the road. They're talking about it being below 0 possibly.
Right, like
I can't wait to see this one.
Like 1 degree, man.
Yeah.
The last one, man, Green Bay travels to Washington. Dante and I went head-to-head about this game here a little bit early. We were really screaming at each other. I like the Packers because when I pick my games, Doug, the first thing I look at is the quarterback.
Yeah.
The second thing I look at is the defense. And the third thing I look at is the head coach. And all of those things go in favor of the Green Bay Packers.
I don't know, man. Okay. I think you're kind of reminiscing. Over the last couple of weeks, man, Kirk Cousins is playing fantastic, and your boy Aaron Rodgers has been struggling. Offensively, he doesn't have a lot of help with him as well on that offense for Green Bay. They got Washington getting 1 point there at home. I'm picking the upset, man. I think the Washington Redskins win.
You cannot go with Kirk Cousins over Aaron Rodgers in any facet of the ball game.
You know what?
Even though Rodgers hadn't been playing good, man, you can't pick Kirk Cousins over him.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and it makes a lot of sense.
Come on, man.
But just watch what they've done.
Okay.
Use your eyes.
All right.
Aaron Rodgers has been struggling, man, and Kirk Cousins, man, looks fantastic. I got to give him credit, and I'm a Kirk Cousins basher. Had been a basher. But the man's been playing great football this year.
I need you to pick on one more game, man. I know we said 4, but I got one more.
Well.
Clemson, Alabama. Clemson, Alabama, sir. It's time.
I think
Put your testicles on the line right now.
I don't want to do that. Can I just pick the game? You're listening to the Two Live Stews. I mean, you really got serious just now. I had some visions of the Django, man. Man, listen, man. Lord knows, man. We from the great state of South Carolina, man. And the Clemson Tigers hadn't been in this position since 1981.
South Carolina, stand up.
I think Clemson, man. I think Clemson is going to put 4 wide receivers on the field the majority of the night. They're going to keep Gallman back there. They're going to feed him the ball. And I think your boy Deshaun Watson might be the difference, man. I'm gonna go ahead and pick Clemson, man.
How are you going to go against a man that has already won 4 titles and a guy that's trying to get his first? How are you going to go against that defensive line that has 4 guys that we drafted before the 30th pick in the National Football League?
Listen, my heart says Clemson. My mind says Alabama. I think they just need my last vote of confidence to get it done, man.
I'm going with the
Tigers. I'm
picking
the Clemson Tigers to win it all.
I'm going with the Tigers
to shock the world.
I'm going with the Tigers too, man.
Gus is over here shaking his head.
I'm going with the Tigers too, man.
Hey, we got to get out of here, man.
I'm going with the Tigers too, man. Appreciate everybody's help. Naughty Dread, Dante, Walter, my man Alfred, and you too, Doug, and of course, folks that's listening and checking us out. Love God, love each other.
Hold that tiger.
Hold that tiger. Hey.
Hold that tiger.
Hey.
I got so much trouble on my mind.